Okay, let's talk about data format classification. Data. So, what is data? Data is a collection of facts such as numbers, descriptions, and observations used to record information. Data structures in which data is organized often represents entities, entities that are important to an organization. Entities such as customers, products, sales orders, and so on. Each entity typically has one or more attributes or characteristics. For example, a customer might have a name, an address, a phone number, and so on. We can classify data as structured, semi structured, or unstructured data. So let's jump on to the structured data format. Structured data. Structured data is data that adheres to a fixed schema. So all the data has the same fields or properties. Most commonly, the schema for structured data entities is tabular. In other words, the data is represented in one or more tables that consist of rows to represent each instance of a data entity and columns to represent attributes of the entity. For example, following image shows tabular data representation for customers and product entities. As you can see here, for customer entity, we have a row each for each customer. And you can see these are the attributes: first name, last name, email, address. Same goes with product entity here. You can see the product ID, product name, and the product price. So, structured data is often stored in databases in which multiple tables can reference one another by using key value in a relational model. In semi-structured data, as you can see on my screen, there there is some structure, but it is not uniform. Semi-structured data is information that has some structure, but which allows for some variation between entity instances. For example, while most customers may have an email address, some might have multiple email addresses and some might have none at all. You can see for the customer one, we have first name, last name, and address, contact. And for the customer two, we have first name, last name, address, contact. And if you go in the contact, you can see we have contact types as home, email, whereas for the customer two, we only have email. One common format for semi-structured data is JSON, which you see on my screen. The example here shows a pair of JSON documents that represent customer information. Each customer document includes address and contact information, but the specific fields vary between customers. These are the contact fields are the fields that vary between customers. So if you see on my screen, JSON is one of many ways in which semi-structured data can be represented. The point here is not to provide a detailed examination of JSON syntax, but rather to illustrate the flexible nature of semi-structured data representation. Let's move on to unstructured data. In unstructured data, not all data is structured or even semi-structured. For example, document images, audio and video data, and binary files might not have a specific structure. This kind of data referred to as semi-structured data. if you see on my if you see here, we have an email here, and we have some description about Contoso hardware here, and there is no structure at all.